Hello, good morning. Welcome to your new English lesson. I hope you slept well. I prepared some basic phrases for you this morning. I will read them and make comments. So we can start with I'm leaving now. I am leaving now. So pay attention to this verb, leave. It's not to live, but leave, to go away from somewhere, to leave. So where, that is, when could you use this sentence? Well, if you are at the door and then somebody asks you, where are you going? And then you can say, I'm leaving. I'm leaving now. I'm going outside. I'm going to work. I'm going to school. I'm leaving. So I'm going. Goodbye. Sentence number 2, they like each other. They like each other. So there are two people here involved. Two people and they like each other. They feel nice when they are in each other's company. They feel comfortable. They like each other. Maybe they even love each other. Who knows? They like each other. What do you think? Number 3. What do you think? So, if you want to hear opinion of other person, you can ask, and what do you think about that? What do you think about that? And then it's also important to know the difference between what do you think and what are you thinking about or what are you thinking of. So what do you think? You just want to hear somebody else's opinion. So what do you think about something? So she's nice. What do you think? It's cold outside. What do you think? But if you want to find out what is going on in somebody else's head, for example, then you should make this question but using present continuous tense, and you should say, what are you thinking of? Or what are you thinking about? And what do you think? It just means what's your opinion about that topic? Number 4, what terrible weather. We don't need a here. We don't say what a terrible weather because the noun weather isn't countable noun. So we cannot count weather, one weather, two weathers. So that is the reason why we don't need article before it. We don't say what a terrible weather, but we should say what a beautiful girl or what a terrible car or something like that. So when we use in a sentence a countable noun like a girl or a car, then we need an article. In this case, what a terrible car. But when we have uncountable noun in a sentence like this one, weather, then we just say what terrible weather. What beautiful weather. What terrible weather. It's raining and it's cold. It's terrible and awful. So what terrible weather. Number 5, what's going on? What's going on? Or what is going on? So what is happening? These two sentences have the same meaning. What's going on or what is happening? So something is going on, something is happening, and we do want to know the reason. So we say what's going on, what is happening here. I want to hear and I want to know. So go on here is in the sense of happen, what's going on, what is happening, but you can use it as to go on as a phrasal verb in the meaning of continue. So just go on talking, meaning just continue talking, go on, carry on, go on. Okay, that was go on. Number 6, you are impatient. Impatient. So of course, you can notice the adjective patient here. Patient, a person who has patience is a patient person, a person who is not always in a hurry, and a person who doesn't want everything to happen that moment at once. But you just wait and see what's going to happen. So patient. But if you are the opposite of patient, then you are impatient. So here we have this prefix im, like impossible, impossible, impatient. You are impatient. Why are you so impatient? You shouldn't be impatient. You should be more patient. Of course, patient is like a patient in hospital. A person who is sick and who is in hospital is a patient. That's the same word. Okay, let's move on. This is the sentence that you wouldn't like to pronounce. I was ill on Sunday. So, I was ill on Sunday. I wasn't feeling well. I was ill. Maybe I had a headache. Maybe I had flu or something, but I wasn't feeling well on Sunday. But it's Monday and I'm feeling well now. Luckily, I'm not ill anymore. I'm not sick anymore. I'm feeling okay now. Okay. Number 8, she feeds her dog. So to feed, it means to give somebody food. I feed my family every day. Every single day I have to feed my family. I have to cook for them and to give them food. And she, the person in the sentence, has a dog. And then she has to feed her dog. She feeds her dog every day. So we have S at the end of feed, feeds, because it's present simple tense. And if she's doing that right now, then we will say she is feeding her dog right now. What is she doing? She is feeding her dog. And she feeds her dog every day. Okay, then number 9. This is my daughter. This is my daughter. I'm very proud of her. She's very beautiful and tall and smart. And this is she. This is my daughter. So who is she? It's my daughter. It's my daughter. Okay. Number 10. I got married 8 years ago. I got married 8 years ago. So here we have this phrase to get married, to become married to somebody. So get in past simple got. I got married 8 years ago. So when did you get married? When did you get married? Did you get married 8 months ago? No, I didn't get married 8 months ago. I got married 8 years ago. So pay attention. When you use it with did in past simple tense, then we use get. When did you get married? And in a positive sentence, we use past simple tense of the verb to get, which is got. So I got married 8 years ago. Okay, let's move on. He got up and he hugged her. So, you see here in this sentence, he got up, we have this verb get again, but in a different meaning. So to get married, it means to become married. So here, get means to become, get married, become married. But in the sentence number 11, he got up. What's that? It's a phrasal verb to get up. It means to stand up, to get up. It means to wake up and then to get up or to stand up. So what did he do? He got up. And what else? He hugged her. So to hug somebody means to put your arms around somebody. So he hugged her. Maybe a father hugged his daughter. So the father got up and he hugged her, his daughter. She hugged her daughter, but a father hugged his daughter because he loves her and he knows that he needs to hug her sometimes. Okay? Number 12. I slept 9 hours. I slept 9 hours. How long did you sleep? Again, when we make questions, we use did and we use the infinitive form of the verb. And the infinitive form of the verb slept is sleep. So I slept, it means past simple tense. Yesterday I slept. How long did you sleep? I slept 9 hours, or I slept for 9 hours. So a long time. And how long did you sleep? Yesterday I slept, I think, 7 hours. I slept 7 hours. Number 13, I remember now. I remember now. So for example, if somebody is talking to you and telling you that, I don't know, something happened in the past, but you maybe forgot about that. And then suddenly you remember, I remember that now. I can see it now. I remember, I distinctly remember that that happened. So to remember. Number 14, the brake didn't work. So here, of course, we need to just think about it, the brake. What is a brake? Because there is a verb to break something, break, broke, broken, but you spell it in a slightly different way. And this brake is obviously the brake in the car. So if you want to stop the car, you need to press the brake, to put your foot on the brake. So unfortunately, the brake in the car didn't work. So probably something bad happened. Maybe somebody had an accident or something because the brake didn't work. Yes, to break, we spell it like this, break, and this is a break. So these are two different words. To break something, for example, to break a glass, to break a leg, and to break, it means to stop. Okay, number 15, never stop learning. Never stop learning. Of course, this is a very true statement because we should never stop learning, even when we think that we are not so young anymore and that we should maybe stop learning and stop doing something else. You can do something else, of course, but you need to learn every day to learn something new. And here we have two verbs, stop and learn. Stop and learn. So after the verb stop, if we need to use another verb, we will use this verb with ing ending. So stop learning, stop smoking, stop saying these things. stop breaking things. So stop plus ing. Number 16, who are you thinking about? Who are you thinking about? So at the beginning of this video clip, we had a sentence, what do you think? And then I mentioned that this verb to think can have different meanings depending on the tense that we are using. So if we are using the verb think in present simple tense, what do you think? Then it just means that we want to hear somebody's opinion about something. What do you think? But if we want to find out what is that person, what that person has in his or her head, so then we ask, what are you thinking about? What is on your mind? What's on your mind? What are you thinking about? And then, of course, you can say that I am thinking about, but pay attention if you want to use a verb after that, you have to use the verb with ing ending. So I'm thinking about learning English. I'm thinking about going on holiday. I'm thinking about going for a walk. I'm thinking about eating something. So I'm thinking about plus ing. Okay, number 17 is I often see him. So again, we have a sentence in present simple tense using this adverb often, which means, what does it mean, often? For example, if we talk about 1 week, then often is like 3 or 4 times a week. Often, I often see him. Maybe I work with that person, so I see him every day. And if we want to ask about the frequency, we would ask how often, how frequent, how often do you see him? How often do you see him? Do you frequently see him? So frequently would be like often. How often do you see him? I often see him. I see him almost every day. So it's not every day, but almost every day, and it means often. Okay, a comment. I'm thinking about getting vaccine, or I'm thinking about to get a vaccine. So Dragana, hello, and Veliko Stopolo, hello. I'm thinking about getting. I'm thinking about getting. We cannot say to get. Yes, that's a good example. Thank you very much. Okay, let's see number 18. Number 18, he was just behind me. He was just behind me. So, where was he? Where was he? Was he in front of you? Was he next to you? Was he behind you? So he can be in front, next, behind, or nowhere to see. So he was just behind me. He was behind me. I could not see him. I could not see him. Why couldn't you see him? Well, I couldn't see him because he was behind me. He could see me, but I couldn't see him. Question number 19 is what happened? What happened? It's an interesting question because here, as you can notice, we don't use did, even though it is a question and even though it is a question in past simple tense. So usually when we make questions in past simple tense, we use did and the infinitive form of the verb. So, where did you go? For example. But here, in what happened, we don't use did because it's a kind of subject question. So the thing that happened is unknown. We don't have the subject in this question. So if we don't have the subject, we cannot use auxiliary verb either. So we just need the question verb and the main verb in the past simple tense. Usually, these subject questions start with who. So who came? Who spoke? Who told you that? But they can start with what as well. So what happened? What happened? Something happened. I don't know what happened, but something happened. We can use here present perfect tense as well. We can also ask with what has happened, or to shorten it and to say what's happened, what's happened, and that S in what's would be the shortened form of the verb have from the present perfect tense. So what has happened? And number 12, he was awful. He was awful. So who was awful? Who was awful? Is he usually awful? Why was he awful? Maybe the shop assistant, for example, you went to the shop and the shop assistant was not very helpful or very friendly, and then you can say he was awful. Okay. Or your boss, or your teacher. Sentence number 21, I can peel an apple. Okay, you know what apple is, you know what can is. Maybe, just maybe, you didn't know about the verb peel something. So to peel, it means to take this part from the apple, the skin of the apple, to take it off. Or of the orange, you can peel an orange. If you want to eat an orange, you must peel it. But if you want to eat an apple, you can just wash it and then eat it with the skin, or you can peel the apple and then eat it. And the recommendation is to peel the apple and then to eat it, because it's not very safe, it's not very healthy to eat the skin of fruit right now. I mean, maybe before it was. Okay, so to peel, you can peel a potato as well. And what else? You can peel a banana. Yes, you have to peel a banana if you want to eat it. You cannot eat it with the skin. Okay. Number 22, I'd like to change my room. I'd like. This I'd is the shortened form of what? Can you tell me? Can somebody tell me? What is this D in I'd like? What is it shortened form of? Is it shortened from had? I had? Or I would? What do you think? I'd like. It could be the shortened form of had, but then we wouldn't have like, but liked. Yes, it is would. So I would like to change my room. We usually pronounce it and say it with as I'd like to change my room. And it's a very nice and polite way to ask somebody to do something for you, or yeah, I'd like. You don't say I want to, you don't say, I mean, you can say I want to change my room, but it won't sound that nice. But if you say I would like to change my room, then you can ask for anything, even the things that you shouldn't ask for. But if you use this polite and phrase like I would like, then it would sound nice. So I would like. What would you like? I would like to change my room. I don't like my room. It smells bad. It's dirty. You should say this in a hotel, or when you rent a room in a hotel or in a hostel. So if you want to change it, you should just say, I'd like to change my room. Okay, we will read 3 more. 23, the boy began to cry. Began. So pay attention to this verb, begin. So begin, begin, began, begun. Sometimes we can mix these forms of the verb begin. So they, 3 of them, when you pronounce them, you start with B. Begin, began, begun. So start with B and then change the last part of it. Begin, began, begun. So the boy began to cry. Did he begin to laugh? Did he begin to laugh? No, he didn't begin to laugh. He began to cry. He was sad. Something bad happened, and then he began to cry. Begin, began. A spoiled boy. Well, yes, spoiled kids can cry more often than not spoiled kids, but it doesn't have to mean that he's spoiled. Maybe something bad happened to him. Maybe he hit himself, maybe he cut himself with something, or maybe somebody hit him, maybe another boy hit him, and then he began to cry. In sentence number 24, we have begin again. I began living by myself. So I started, or I began living or to live. After this begin or start, we can use either ing form of the verb, or we can use infinitive form of the verb if it is easier for you. So we can say I began to live by myself, or I began living by myself. So before, I used to live with my parents, or I had some roommates, so I lived, or I used to live with my parents, with my roommates, etc. But now I live alone. I live by myself. So I began living by myself. And 25, the last one for today, is the girls began to laugh. So the boy began to cry and the girls began to laugh. Maybe these 2 sentences are connected. So maybe these mean, evil girls did something to that poor boy. So he began to cry and they began to laugh. Or maybe these 2 sentences are not connected at all. So maybe the girls began to laugh because somebody told them a joke. Maybe somebody did something funny and they began to laugh. So that's it from me for you today. I hope you liked it. I hope you found it useful. I hope you learned something from me. So if the answer is yes, you can write it down in the comments below. Just in case I need to read something, then I could read your comments. And I hope to see you all very soon, maybe tomorrow. Bye.